Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the daily cricket show, the Cricket Happening Show. And on this Cricket Happening Show, well, what a day! What a day! Australia Day yesterday in the final one day international of the tour where Pakistan were playing the last match of the tour. And look at what happened. I mean, there could not have been a better day for Australia to actually create a script like what they did. And it was done by the Aussie opening pair of David Warner, who went on to score 179 runs, his sixth century in the season. And what a performance from David Warner. He took away both the man of the match and the man of the series, and why not? And not only that, what Head and Warner, Travis Head and David Warner did was something phenomenal, because they put up the highest partnerships for Australia in ODIs. I mean, this is something brilliant, I would say, because the previous highest was between Smith and Warner, and they had done it against a lesser known team, against only Afghanistan. And yesterday, that particular record was eliminated. In fact, this was the highest ever partnership for ODIs by an Australian pair of Travis Head and Warner. Travis Head registering his maiden ODI century, and David Warner almost walking close to the highest score by an Australian in ODIs of Shane Watson, who scored 185, with David Warner making 179. Not only that, they were also within touching distance of breaking the all-time record for an opening partnership in ODIs, which stands in the name of former Sri Lankan dasher Sanath Jayasuriya and Upul Taranga, which they thrashed it against England in 2006. And at that time, it was 286. They just fell 2 runs short. And just imagine this, and just imagine so much of joy for all the Australian fans assembled there to watch this match, especially on Australia Day, where it was a full house there at a picturesque Adelaide Oval, as 284 runs partnership was set by David Warner and Travis Head. What a partnership that was. I mean, this is the highest ever partnerships in ODIs by an Australian pair, and as I said, they couldn't have found a better day than Australia Day to really write a script here. So I'll be coming back to that. So Australia making 369, and Pakistan definitely gave them a good fight, I thought, but they finished short by 57 runs, and Australia took the ODI series 4-1. As far as India versus England were concerned, the start of the first T20, which started at the Green Park Stadium in Kanpur, and I have to say good credit to the English bowlers for really putting the Indian batsmen under some pressure, in the sense they were not allowing the Indian batsmen any liberties. It was a very, very disciplined bowling effort, I thought, from the English bowlers, which really gave them the victory, because they restricted the Indians to just 140 odd runs, 147, and they won the match by 7 wickets. So definitely full credit to England. England totally dominated, one could say, in the first T20, and they took a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series, and it was well done. So, but first, I'm going to talk about the Australia Day record that was created by Australia. And what a record! I mean, to create a record, an Australian record on an Australia Day, and that there could not be, as I said, a better script. Wonderful. So let's talk about what happened there. As far as the 5th ODI was concerned, the toss was actually won by Australia, and Australia rightly deciding on a picturesque Adelaide Oval, which was full of very, very sunny temperatures prevailing. They decided to bat first. So David Warner and Travis Head walked in. As you know, Usman Khwaja was rested and Travis Head was stood. And I think that was the right decision, because I was always wondering as to why Travis Head, after opening so well in the first 2 one-day internationals, was suddenly demoted and he was put at number 4. But I think Travis Head should hold his spot in the ODIs, because I think He forms. He's to me in ODIs. I have a feeling that David Warner and Travis Head will make a really an awesome opening combination since Aaron Finch is not there. So Travis Head is also one who can really play strokes very good through the offside. Once again showed that. David Warner, I mean, nothing to really say. I mean, he is someone who has already reached another record also, because it was 6 centuries by the former Sri Lankan player Kumar Sangakkara, and now David Warner has equaled that record as well. And one does not know how many more records David Warner is going to break. But David Warner, just a salute to David Warner, the way he played. Well, I mean, once again, the Pakistan, I'm sure the Pakistan bowlers would have been disheartened here, because once again Pakistan put up a very poor exhibition of fielding. Once again, grassing catches, fumbles on the field. So and in fact it was so pronounced, I would say, that one saw in the one saw in the stands that it was Mickey Arthur, the coach, and Steve Rickson, the fielding coach, really putting their hands on their heads. So such was the dismal fielding effort once again, and Pakistan, I think, have to really work hard on their fielding. So and Australia, as I said, got off to a real flyer, and look at that partnership, a mammoth partnership, which kept on frustrating the Pakistan. But the very first delivery that was bowled on Australia Day, Mohammad Amir got the edge of Warner's bat, and Azhar Ali couldn't cling on. But if he had clung on to the catch, that would have been the most brilliant catch. I think the catch of the series, if at all he had plucked it, but it was not to be. Let's have a look at how the Pakistan bowlers were treated with the onslaught from David Warner and Travis Head. Mohammad Amir, 10 overs, cost him 71 runs with 1 wicket. Junaid Khan, 10 overs, 2 for 61. Hassan Ali went on to league 100 runs and pick up 2 wickets of his 9 overs. It was pretty costly. Mohammad Hafiz was 7 overs for 43. Wahab Riaz, 10 overs, went for 62, 1 wicket. And Shoaib Malik, 4 overs, no maiden, none for 27. So first the platform was set by Australia with David Warner and Travis Head really leaning into the Pakistani bowlers. As I said, David Warner contributing 179 of 128 deliveries with 19 fours and 5 sixes. Travis Head's contribution is maiden ODI century, 128 of 137 deliveries, 9 fours and 3 sixes. This was pretty much it as far as the this Australia's effort were concerned. Stephen Smith was out for 4 of 2 balls with 1 4. Maxwell was a victim of the Mohammad Amir for 30 of 7 deliveries with 1 4 and 1 6. Matthew Wade made 8 of 6 balls with 1 4. Hanscom making 1 run of 2 balls. Faulkner was not out on 18 of 12 balls with 2 fours. Mitchell Starc was out for 6. So Pakistan definitely coming back in a big way. From 284, they started picking up wickets at regular intervals to actually see to it that Australia didn't reach the 400 mark, as Australia finished at 369 for 7 of their 50 overs. Now, as far as Pakistan were concerned, they were given a target of 370 runs, and definitely looking at the pitch, the way it was playing, it was a good belter of a good batting pitch, and definitely the sun was shining brightly, so one could have probably thought that Pakistan could have given a real fist. Yes, they definitely, the start was not good. They lost their captain Azhar Ali pretty early in the piece, and which was a big blow. He was LBW bowled Starc for 6 of 8 deliveries with 1 4. Sharjeel Khan and Babar Azam joined forces, and they, I wouldn't say they did an almost David Warner, but they probably did half of what David Warner and Travis Head did, as they took the score from 10 for 1 when Azhar Ali departed to score for 140 at the halfway stage, but it was done by Sharjeel Khan. Now Sharjeel Khan, one thing I have to tell, that he scored 79, and this is his highest score in ODIs, and one thing I can say for sure, that Sharjeel Khan has shown immense improvement. I mean, if you look at his scores, you would see that he has always been increasing his tally. I mean, he has gone from 20s to 30s to 40s to 50s to 70s, and now probably it's time for him to hit a century. but Shahjil Khan definitely is quite a dangerous player because he really swings the bat very hard, and when he connects, it really connects in a beautiful manner. But Shahjil Khan's contribution was 79 of 69 deliveries, 9 fours and 2 sixes. But that guy Babar Azam actually not only he was the one who was actually holding the fort for Pakistan and keeping their hopes high, I would say, as he compiled a wonderful 100, his fourth ODI century, and what a way. I mean, Babar Azam, one has to say that way back in 1981, it was the former great Zahir Abbas from Pakistan who had actually made a century against Australia in an ODI, and today it was Babar Azam doing it after 1981, and Babar Azam will be very, very happy with this effort. That really shows what class Babar Azam possesses. And as I said, he was the one who was holding the fort and seeing to it that the Pakistan were really there with the chase, and he did a fine job. I thought he played some wonderful strokes to make 100 exactly of 109 balls with 7 fours and 1 6, and he was there. And as I said, as long as Babar was there, hope was there. But then Mohammad Hafiz was dismissed cheaply by the bowling of Stark for 3 of 6 balls, and then they had a big blow when Shoaib Malik had to retire hurt, being hit by a delivery from Cummins on his elbow, I reckon, and he was retired hurt. And so that was a big blow too, because Shoaib Malik, with all his experience, could have probably got this Pakistan innings much closer than what it seemed to be. So that was sort of a blow, I thought. Shoaib Malik retired hurt for 10 of 13 deliveries. Umar Akmal played a good hand, I thought, by making 46 of 40 deliveries with 7 fours. Mohammad Izan was out for 6. Mohammad Amir swung his bat to make 17 of 14 deliveries, 1 4 and 1 6. Wahab Riaz 17 of 20, 1 4. Hassan Ali making 13, becoming a victim of Zampa of 10 balls. And Junaid Khan was not. And Pakistan, as I said, they went down fighting, I would say, as Pakistan finished at 312 all out. Thus, Australia winning the match by 57 runs on Australia Day to give immense joy to the Aussie fans there, and also winning the 5-match series 4-1. Player of the match and the player of the series going to David Warner, and rightly so. As far as the bowling is concerned, Mitchell Stark was on the money, 9.1 overs, unmade and 42 runs and 4 wickets. But Josh Hazlewood was targeted yesterday. He was given a bit of a biff, I would say, with the Pakistan bats, and probably they had a game plan there. Josh Hazlewood's 10 overs, league 74 with 1 wicket. Cummins 10 overs, 2 for 60 was also a bit costly because of the pace that he was generating, because they were using the pace of the ball to actually play the strokes, Pakistan batsmen. Faulkner 9 overs, 1 for 60. Zampa also disappeared for 61 runs of his 9 overs with 1 wicket, and Travis had bowled 2 overs for 13. So I think that really probably sums up everything that as far as the Pakistan tour of Australia was concerned. The ODI series taken by Australia 4-1, and what a way to do it. And as I said, this is the highest ever opening partnership that not only opening partnership, this is the highest ever partnership by Australia in ODIs against any team in the world. And definitely on Australia Day, as I said, they couldn't have written a better script. So let's look at the other match now, and we are talking about the first T20 match which was played, the first T20 match of the series, just played at the Green Park in Kanpur. It was a good toss to win, I reckon, for England, as they inserted India in. As far as India were concerned, it started off with Parvez Rasool, the Kashmiri spinner offie, was actually making his T20 debut today, which is good to see. And India started off with Virat Kohli opening the innings with KL Rahul. KL Rahul, I thought, was a bit struggling. In fact, as I said, let's talk about the English bowling, because the English bowling was absolutely on the mark. It was Tymal Mills, the left-arm pace bowler, who has already sounded that he would be concentrating only on T20 cricket, and one could see why, because he was bowling a wonderful line. And even though Virat Kohli hit some strokes down the wicket of Tymal Mills and Jordan, I thought Tymal Mills and Jordan were doing a good job. They were really seeing to it that they were not really allowing lots of runs to come. And KL Rahul definitely was into a bit of struggle. and finally it was Jordan who actually surprised him with a short delivery, and KL Rahul actually trying to hook the delivery ended up in the hands of Rashid, and he was gone at backward short leg. So he was gone for 8. And KL Rahul continues to have a problem, I would say, because this has not been a good series for him. He has been struggling with his form, unfortunately. Suresh Raina came in, and Suresh Raina meant business right away as he was tickling the balls. We had some very good running between the wickets when Suresh Raina came to the crease. As you know, he's a real terrier at the crease. And Virat Kohli was the other one who was not only playing his strokes, but always and he played some exquisite strokes. Virat Kohli did a good job. And they took the score on to 55, and that was the time when Moeen Ali picked up the wicket of Virat Kohli for 29 of 26 deliveries with 4 fours. Suresh Raina's contribution was a very valuable one at that, 34 of just 23 deliveries, 4 fours and 1 6 before he tried to actually flick a delivery from Stokes, which was on the leg stump, and his furniture was disturbed by Stokes. Yuvraj Singh made 12 of 13 with 1 4, being a victim of Plunkett. Plunkett, I thought, came back well. Initially, he got a bit of a bashing at the hands of Virat Kohli and Raina, but I thought he came back well later. Dhoni was there till the end, but again, as I said, even in the death overs, we saw that Tymal Mills, Jordan and all were bowling a very good line and really not allowing India a lot of liberties. And Dhoni finished with an unbeaten 36 of 27 deliveries with 3 fours. Manish Pandey was out for 3, Pandya for 9, Parvez Rasool on his debut run out for 5, Bumrah was not and India had to be content to be finished with at 147 for 7. Probably a par score on that particular pitch was close to 180 runs, which India really couldn't find it. And let's speak about the English bowlers. I thought the full credit to the English bowlers. It was a very disciplined effort from the English bowlers. Tymal Mills in particular, I thought he bowled a serious line and with lots of pace, and that was he was really ramping up. You could see he was consistently clocking at 146, 147. 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 27. Did his job very well. Jordan is a very good death bowler. He saw to it that India didn't even reach the 150 mark. 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 27 for Chris Jordan. Plunkett came back very well after getting a bit of bashing earlier. 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 32. Ben Stokes did his job, 1 for 37 of 4. And Moeen Ali surprising by getting 2 wickets for 21 of his 4 overs. As far as England were concerned, they were given a target of 148 runs to win from 20 overs. Jason Roy started off in electric fashion as he clubbed 2 sixes to make 19 of 11 balls. But when the Yuzvendra Chahal, the right-arm leggy, was introduced, Yuzvendra Chahal got both the openers' wickets. First he picked up Jason Roy by clean bowling him for 19 of 11 deliveries, 2-6. Sam Billings was also a victim, bowled by Chahal for 22 of 10 deliveries, 3 fours and 1 6. And then Joe Root was the one who really stuck to the crease. He got the company of Morgan, and Morgan was the one who was doing all the hitting, and Joe Root was just playing around Morgan. And this partnership ensured that England won't have much trouble surpassing the Indian total. That's what precisely happened. Joe Root remained not out in 46 of as many balls with 4 fours. Morgan clubbed 51 of just 38 deliveries, 1 4 and 4 sixes. When Parvez Rasool got his maiden T20 wicket, as was gone for 51, and Ben Stokes was there for the formalities, not out on 2, and England winning the match by 7 wickets, the first T20, and taking a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. Well done, England. As I said, everything started off. I think the English bowling has to be really being credited for their wonderful bowling. Nehra was extremely costly. 3 overs went for 31. Bumrah 3.1 overs, none for 26. Chahal 4 overs, 2 for 27, bowled a good line. Parvez Rasool on his debut, I would say still we can give it to him. 4 overs, 1 for 32. Raina 2 overs for 17. And Hardik Pandya bowled 2 overs for 12 runs. And Moeen Ali for taking 2 wickets for 21 was named man of the match because he was the one who was the tightest bowler on show. And when, as I said, I would really put it to a very, very disciplined English bowling, which restricted India to 147, and India really found it very tough to really really get the scoring along and give credit to the English bowlers for putting up such an effort. So England winning the first T20, taking a lead 1-0. Well, dear fans and subscribers, I hope you all enjoyed this cricket broadcast of mine. The next cricket broadcast will be coming tomorrow. Till such time that happens, it's good night.